hi, everyone. Victor Chen here from the Pickleball Diary. We're continuing showcasing our Canadian pickleball paddle company, and I have the great opportunity to present you Justin from one of Canadian company here in Alberta, Le Cornichon. So
We,
thank you, Sir Justin, for coming in. So for people who doesn't know what does it mean, Le Cornichon is actually in French the pickle, right? Am I right?
that's correct.
Awesome. So Justin, why did you pick that name? I know you did mention it to me when we meet each other a few almost a month back, but obviously our listener will will be more curious about why you picked that.
Yeah, so nice to meet you, by the way, and thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure and privilege to join you and to be part of what it is that you're creating and to connect with your community of people. So thanks for inviting and having me on.
Thank you.
Le Cornichon was kind of bred out of somewhat of necessity. It actually took me almost 2 months to come up with a name for the company. Every name that I seem to come up with, I would always go first to like a patent database to make sure that
Mm.
it was able to be trademarked and protected so that we could grow the business. And every
Hmm.
single time I thought I came up with a good name, every single one had already been taken. And
Oh.
so, after going for a walk around my local lake, I was really against having the word pickle in the company because it just seemed so I don't know, bland or boring.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was like, well, I kind of speak French, and what's pickle in French? I'm like cornichon. I'm like le cornichon. I'm like that. That kind of sounds like an elevated, unique brand. It has an homage to pickleball. It has the French component, which I think kind of gives you a little bit of brand elevation, which is what I wanted. I mean, we learned to speak French in Ontario. I took it up until grade 12, and I love Quebec and going and Montreal. We went there tons of times in my teenage years. So
Nice.
so I just thought it was a cool, unique name, and I was sitting down on my desk, and I was like, I wrote "le," which is the in cursive, and it
Yep.
just looked really nice. I was like, that's a wicked logo. It's a cool name, and I shared it with my girlfriend, and she's like, that's an awesome name, and then that's kind of what we ran with, and that's how it was born.
No, actually, it is a when I first come in to actually see your company logos at Le Cornichon, I was like, oh my god, this is actually a very cool idea because like if you think about like all the companies around around the pickleball space, they're trying to have some like obviously you have Selker and Yola that because they have their own logos already. So and then all the others are trying to do something that's close to the pickle. Like you have like the PIKKL, and then you have all the other alteration of the of pickle. But everyone is trying to align something in kind of their English language. No one actually wants to do anything about the French language, and I think this is awesome to like showcase our Canadian. Hey, we're Canadian. Yes, there's the English component, but the French component also like can showcase in here. And for your company to come in with basically using the word connection as pickle, that's perfect. It's a very good idea.
Yeah,
I
thank you. It's like, we could have gone German, but probably not a lot of people would have known what that was. And it's kind of funny because it seems like in Ontario across the board, I think I know it's a core part of our education. I don't know if it is in Alberta, but a lot of people know a lot of the very basic terms, at least in French, even if they don't speak the language. Whereas I
Mhm.
find a lot of people in Alberta are like, Le Cornichon? What is Le
Yeah,
Cornichon? Like they
exactly.
don't have the same French background or understanding that we do in Ontario. So I have to explain it a lot to people, which is fine because it's a good conversation starter. But
Hmm.
we've got a ton of great feedback on our branding and the logo. People love it, and it's just nice when you create something that people can identify with and that they enjoy and that they like. So it's been a really good start for us, at least on that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I see it right away because I come from Montreal myself too. I did all my high school, university, everything in French. So that's for me. Always have a little bit of my kind of my French background and my French history back there. That's remind me of them. And so seeing something in French is sometimes heartwarming and nostalgic for me.
Nice. It brings you back closer to a part of home almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So just talk to me. Like you did talk to me about like how you come with the name of the Cornichon, but tell me about why did you actually started your own company? I know, like I saw yourself. Actually, I ref and I saw you how you play at our last MILP tournament. You're a very good 4-5 plus player. But like, what inspired you to? Oh, I want to also put to get into the pickleball company space, like to building the brand and everything.
Yeah, well, thank you for the shout out. I sometimes get up to that good 4 or 5 level when I have partners that have strong shoulders. So luckily we came with a good team to Edmonton, and we had some fun in the tournament. We came away, we snuck away with a silver. We would have liked to have left with the gold, but the other team played really well in the finals and beat us.
Mhm. Yeah, that was very close. You guys are so close. It was that night biting through 3 game, and there you guys are just couple points here and there, right? You could gone either way.
Yeah, they really dug into that final game and played really strong. So kudos to them. They played well. They deserved the win, and we'll be back. We'll be back to try and steal it from them next time. So yeah, I played tennis my whole life growing up.
Nice.
So I competed up until under 18 in Ontario in tournaments, and then I took a
Wow.
break from it. And so I moved to Alberta in 2023. To kind of move away from Ontario. My daughter was out here with my ex-wife, and so at 40 years old, moving to a new community, not knowing a lot of people. I ended up picking up going back to Ontario with my girlfriend, and we went into like a pickup game of pickleball in like a rec center. You stack your paddles and you
Yeah,
play with
yeah.
whoever stacks your paddles. And she dragged me kicking and screaming. I was like, I don't want to play this sport. This sport is dumb. I was like a snobby tennis player, and I was like, this is ping pong. This is like glorified ping pong with a wiffle ball. Like, you got to be kidding me! I'm not interested in this. And I went out and I played, and I was like, I'm interested in this. This is really fun. I enjoyed myself. And so as soon as I
Nice.
got back from Ontario, I went to Calgary Pickleball Center locally, and I signed up for
Mhm.
an open play, and I ended up playing like 6 times that week, and then
Wow.
2 to 3 hours a day for the next like 4 months straight.
Wow.
Um, and what I found happened is I got introduced to a really large group of people really quickly. I made a
Mm.
great circle of friends. I was able to be active in playing sports whenever I wanted all the time, and I was able to compete again. Like,
Nice.
the pickleball gave me the ability to compete at a high level, like the tournament that we're at in the MLP, where
Yeah.
like I now have a rating and I can go and play in a rated bracket, and I can, play it. There's provincials, there's nationals, there's internationals, there's these epic world championships. There's like,
Mhm.
and the sport is just continuing to grow. Um, and so it gave me a part of myself back that I felt like I lost in youth, that
Mhm.
I missed, and it like it kind of hooked me immediately.
Mhm.
And in that, I was like, I was building custom homes for 20 years back home. I had an ice cream business. I've always kind of worked for myself, and when I came out here, I didn't really have anything that I was particularly working on. We started a development project, which didn't really work out, and I thought, you know what, I want to marry my business with passion, with something that I love and enjoy.
Mhm.
And pickleball was like, this seems like a really natural next step for me to be able to do. And
Mhm.
the paddle space for me, as far as Canadian brands go, there's a couple that are really great that I love and respect. And I respect every single company that's out there doing business, but there wasn't anything that I found that I particularly wanted to use for myself as a Canadian brand.
Mhm.
That I had found anyways, right? And so I was like, well, then that's where we will start. And so we started by
Nice.
building the Revolution Pro One paddle.
Nice. Yeah, definitely very good, a very good paddle. So obviously we will also jump in talking about this paddle, the Revolution Pro One paddle, 60 it's a 60 millimeter paddle. If you look at it, is actually I will say a basically a hybrid. Looks like more, especially in the screen and sometimes how you look at it, it looks like more wide body more than a hybrid. Though, so why did you like? This is your only design at the moment. Why did you actually pick this one as your only design?
Yeah, well, I have a matching one here, so we're twins.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, perfect.
the paddle measures 16 and an eighth long from end to tip, and
Mm,
7 and 7/8 on the widest part of the body. It
gotcha.
tapers down about an eighth of an inch from there to 17 and 5/8, somewhere in that. I think a quarter inch on the bottom. And we actually raised this part of the paddle up this way to elongate the handle to allow for more grip on two-handed backhands, as well
Mhm.
as create leverage from the face away to get more power on flicks, drives from baseline. It has an EVA foam suspension, 8 millimeter honeycomb core,
Mhm.
and
So it's a Gen 3 paddle, basically. Am
it's
I?
it's a Gen 3. It's a Gen 3 paddle. Yes, it's a
Yes.
Gen 3 paddle, and I think we've built a great combination of power and control. I think that
Hmm.
a lot of things focus on power, power, power. I think that the conversation, especially this year, is getting away from power, and
Hmm.
I think there's going to be a lot more talk bringing paddles back into control, because realistically that's what you need. You can generate power without the paddle, but if the paddle has too much power, it becomes really hard to control on resets, on dinking slower
Hmm.
and slower balls. You have a tendency to pop the ball up. So
Yes. And I agree because especially with the coming of the lifetime ball, you don't really it's almost effortless to generate that much speed and power from that ball. And therefore, if you let's say I just take an example, if you using like the cell curve boomstick with the lifetime ball, I do have quite a bit of difficulty having to dip that ball unless I put like extra spin on
yeah,
it, or I'm be more careful when on my drive. And that plays a big factor when, especially when you're playing tournaments. Sometimes you're more tense. Depending on the situation. I feel like the control most in that regard, the control paddle does come in play in order to fill in those newer ball that's faster and more powerful. Than you need to now like, especially you have to think about the pickleball court is 20 by 44. It's not like
right.
a tennis court that's so big that like even you hit as hard as you can, you might not even reach the whole court. But in pickleball, it's a different story. We talk about a lot of like finesse. We talk a lot of different shot in order to put into the placement, right? So I do agree that the putting back into like the all court control category is actually will be, I would say, that probably this year to next year, which most paddle company I will be focusing on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that, because that was the idea that we built with um, our foresight, was to try and build that mixture of power and control, and build a good all court paddle. And we built it and launched it in July of 2025. And I think
Nice.
that the great thing about that is that it still has relevance. In fact, I think it's going to have more relevance as more stuff comes out this year about where things are headed. And
Hmm.
these marketing ideas about generating more power, people have the feedback now that shows that, hey, for some it helps their game, but I think a lot of people are finding that they're wanting to bring more control in. And the reality is if you're looking to your paddle to generate power, you're probably not generating power correctly in the first place,
Hmm.
is my thought. um and so you probably don't.
That's a good hot take.
Yeah, yeah, so you probably don't need it. Right. I mean, I'm not looking for my paddle doesn't generate power. My body and my technique generate power.
No, I
Um,
agree, definitely.
and even learning to hit the ball in the center of the paddle more consistently will help you to generate more power and do it with consistency and keep it in the court. So I just think
Yeah.
that there's more important things to focus on in the pickleball space. We're talking about when we're talking about these things, for me, generally, I think that we're talking to an audience that's probably 4.5 to even 4.0 and below is the
Mhm.
broadest category of player.
Yeah.
And that is the, in my opinion, where we're trying to serve, right? I'm trying to serve
Yeah.
that market of players. We're not serving a market of players that are 4.5, 5.0 and above. Those are technically pro players, and they probably represent less than 1% of the population of pickleball players.
Yeah, indeed. Especially, I would say in Canada, unfortunately, we don't have that amount of pros that the U.S. has also. So that makes totally sense. And the majority of the players will be 3.5, 4.0, maybe. Oh, I'll say even 4.5 population is still not that big compared to that 4.0, 3.5 population. And
Yeah.
indeed, and that's what I'll say come like start a company like you want to focus on the bigger population first, then maybe branch out to a higher level if you if necessary, or if you see the needs of it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to allocate funds when you're launching a business, and the USAP certifications on the paddle is very expensive. We're talking
Hmm.
$4,500 US per model, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's for certification. If we want to get UPA certified, so PPA pros could play with that, we're talking $20,000
Oh my
plus.
God.
So you're talking 22 grand for US to get into that space. So, the we want to build products that serve pickleball players, not
Hmm.
necessarily the pros. That's not necessarily where we want to live. That being said, I have 5.0 players that are playing with our paddle and absolutely love it. I would say that the majority of our players are probably 4.0 and below, right?
Hmm. And question for you quickly. I do see like more and more paddle company has been doing that, especially lately. Do you feel like the pro player mostly do not generate as much sales compared to like your community sales?
I mean, we want to focus on building the sport in Canada. And
Hmm.
so the best way for us to do that is by partnering with coaches, local pros, and players who are in the communities on the court and are actively participating in growing the game.
Hmm.
And that's where we want to be. And
Yeah.
we want to serve those players. So we want to build products that serve people where they're at, which is on the court. For me, again, the marketing machine behind having a pro player uh, may drive legitimacy towards the brand, towards the paddle. Oh, Annalie Bright plays with the Cornichon, must be a good paddle. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and perhaps that's true, but maybe the fact that those players are getting paid to do so is also part of it. So the fact of the
Yeah.
matter is we don't have the money to pay pro players to do that right now. So that's not what we're focused on. Is
Yeah.
that something that we'll do in the future? Maybe. To be honest with you, my interest lies more in youth development. So I would
Mhm.
actually prefer to, if I'm going to be sponsoring athletes, to be sponsoring youth athletes and
No,
helping
that makes sense.
to supplement their cost with equipment, um, entry fees, maybe even help to match their prize winnings if we're able to do that, and just support the younger generation. That because my goal is to help to make Canadian pickleball as a sport better. And that I think that the way that we do that is by supporting the future, and the future is in the youth. So I
Definitely.
would much rather take our marketing dollars and not use them as marketing dollars and actually use that money to really support the community of pickleball here in Canada through a youth program.
No, that makes so much sense, and thank you for doing that. Our juniors here definitely will appreciate those support, because obviously, I feel like Canada is slightly lacking in junior program here, so especially even though like Alberta, I would say we're booming quite a bit in pickleball space, but like the juniors, even though they try to put the juniors in the provincial and everything, there is not still not enough support or programs, or like like they don't really go like what I have been encountering, especially around like at the Edmonton area, they do go to the school, but they go once and there's no like follow up. Like they don't like, let's say I have someone that have very good potential, like the like this guy or this girl, they can play balls, and if we train a little bit more, actually they can surpass any other player. But in currently, like you need to those that girl or that boy that wants to get into that pro or higher level play, they have to go find a higher level player in order to get better or to train. And then we have also the other stigma of a lot of people still around here, around like not just here in Canada, but also we feel a little bit in US, is that, oh, I have a kid that's playing. I don't want to play with this kid because it's not my age group. Either this kid will beat me out, or this kid cannot play. I don't. And they have that kind of mental blockage. It's like, no, you should encourage this kid playing rather than actually say, oh, I don't want that kid to play in my club and something like that. Which
Right.
I feel that which is disappointing. And I really appreciate that company now, like yours, that is putting effort to actually helping the youth development.
Yeah, well, I mean, you really just have to look at any of the other sports that have been established for a long time. You look at hockey, you look at baseball. I did downhill ski racing. If you want to look at tennis, any of these longstanding sports have development programs. And you can either go to a house league where there's organized rec play, or you can move into rep where there's single A, double A, triple A, based on your skill set, your ability to commit to more and more training as well as playing will dictate where it is that you're going to land in that spectrum. But I have, my a good friend of mine in Ontario, his son is 9 years old, and he's on the ice at 6 a.m. like 5 days a week training for
Hmm.
hockey. So, the fact is that we have these programs that have already existed. I was in tennis training up until, again, I was 18. I was in youth development programs, advanced academy training, private lessons.
Hmm.
And so I think that you will start to see those development programs come, one, because it's a great way to get to grow the sport with the youth.
Yes.
And you can see it now. Like in Edmonton, there was that kid. I think he was probably like what, 14 or 15 from Edmonton.
Hmm.
Great young
Jacob, right?
player.
Oh yeah.
No, not Jacob. I think it was
Logan.
Logan.
Logan. Yeah,
Logan, yeah.
Logan.
We played against him in the final. Great young kid. Jacob's another great young kid. Like you have these younger kids that are there that are, and they're competing at high levels. Like you have Jacob that's winning provincial open, right? So
Yeah.
and they're getting medaling in nationals open. So like these guys can compete with grown men on the court, and
Hmm.
so it's really, that's what I love about pickleball. You wouldn't see that in tennis. You wouldn't see a 15-year-old kid usually being able to go compete against a 21-year-old. They just would get out muscled basically.
Hmm.
And the very, very rare occasion, unless you get like a Carlos Alcaraz or Rafael
Yeah.
Nadal. But
Exactly.
the youth development is going to be an interesting thing to see develop, and that's just somewhere where I see there's huge opportunity. I don't know if I'm interested in building development camps, but I'm definitely interested in helping to develop youth players. So I'm encouraged by these young guys that come out. I get to play against them. I get to see them on the court, and it's kind of a fun part of the game.
No, definitely, and I will say that this shape of paddle that's definitely helped the juniors, right? Because I'll say the elongated, yes, I like elongated paddle. If you look at all my paddles, the back is mostly elongated. But
Yeah,
I will say for people like for the juniors that they're still learning their stroke, having something that have a bigger sweet spot and easier to maneuver,
yeah,
perfect, right? That I just measured that swing because I like hand battles, right? So this battle is perfect. The swing weight was what I measure is 110, so it's perfect. It's like like it's so fast. You can add lead tape on it. Usually I add weight maybe up to 120 and that or maybe 124 max.
yeah.
But with this something that like you can customize whatever you want. So as they grow, you can add more weight. You can add more. You can do more customization, and then you can still use the same paddle, right?
Yeah, I mean, I add 6 grams on both sides of mine up here.
Nice.
And I find that gives me, it adds a little bit to the swing weight, so I can get a bit more plow through.
Hmm.
But it also really stabilizes the paddle for any off center hits, and also gives me, it just broadens the sweet spot a lot.
Yes.
So, you
Yeah,
know,
the twist weight was pretty good. Also, I did test it. The twist weight was 6.67, which is usually pretty high for a hybrid, and what you would expect a paddle from a kind of hybrid a hybrid wide body to have, and that's the reason why you want to pick that kind of paddle, right?
nice, cool. So those are the specs you got. You got 110 swing weight and a 665 on a twist.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So that yeah, I have the graffiti machine, so I can that's how I
Fun.
customize my paddle sometimes to my liking, right?
Nice. That's
It,
awesome.
that helps. So, any goal that your future goals from your company at this point? Yes, you talk about the juniors and everything. Will you be also like launching other shape, other generation of paddle? We know like these days we're talking about a lot of Gen 4 or the newer grids, talking about tuning down in terms of power. Any plans for your company on that?
We have lots of plans. We have lots of plans, lots of
Nice,
ideas. I will tell you that when the actual base product that I started to build with Le Cornichon was an apparel line.
nice.
So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
actually wanted to start as a clothing company. And the reason that we got our paddle to market first is just because it was the quickest thing that we could get to market. But I spent the last year developing a fabric that is 100% made in Canada from bamboo and merino wool. And we will
Wow.
be launching our first clothing collection in spring of this year.
Oh, nice,
So that is the next product that we're really bringing to market. Really excited about it. It's got a men's shorts and t-shirts in black and white,
wow.
a women's skirts, racerback, and t-shirt both in black and white. So really just the core things that you need for the court, like the classique. We're calling it the classique collection, which is just really your court
Nice,
essentials, right? Like your very base essentials in black and white. Get the fabric, get the clothing on people, get them testing it, feeling it, and loving it as much as we do, and then we're going to expand out from there. So there's some pretty big plans for our clothing line expansions, right, and things that we
nice,
can get into. As far as paddles go, I've gone through 10 different prototypes already on our Gen 4 model. I've landed on most likely what is going to be the core construction and shape. I'm just waiting for our last prototypes to arrive. I will tell you
mm,
that it is going to be an elongated shape that we're going to be
mhm.
launching with.
Nice.
I'm going to be launching in one shape, one model. So our Gen 3 is going to be our hybrid. I think that we've built a great hybrid all court paddle. I don't think that we need
Yes.
to change. I don't think that we need to change that.
No, you don't
Um,
need to. I did hit all it. I like plush paddle. I like when I hit first, like I mentioned to you, it reminds me a lot of the 11.624 Vapor Power. But instead of being stiff, this paddle is actually being soft, having the same power, same pop. So I actually enjoyed the your version of the paddle rather more than the what 11.624. Not saying bad things about 11.624. They have
you know, great
done
company.
the great job, but it's just a matter of feelings, right? Every player had a little bit of like personalization. I like a little bit of this more rather than more this, right? So, but I'll say yeah, your Revolution Pro doesn't need to change much at all.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, and it's just been really it's been a challenge because I, like you, really like plush paddles. I want to feel the ball into the face of the paddle.
Hmm.
And I think it's really important to have that visceral feedback when you're playing. Again, I had it from tennis. I could feel the ball go in almost behind the racket of the strings and come back out. And
Yeah.
so I want to bring that feeling into pickleball. And it may be a personal preference, but I think that a lot of people, when they feel the difference, they also like it as well. And all
Hmm.
of the prototypes that I've built so far, with exception of two, we're using EPP foam for the core, and the feedback that I was getting off the foam core was way too rigid. It's stiff. It wasn't having enough plow through. It's just like it wasn't working for us. So we actually have been experimenting, and more than likely we'll be running with an MPP foam core, which is
Nice.
the it's I think it's micropolymer, so it's small. like holes or bubbles in what looks like a solid foam core, but it's made of plastic. So you're gonna get
Mhm.
the feeling of a Gen 3 paddle with the durability of a Gen 4 paddle. And that's really what it is that we're trying to blend, is to try to blend that feeling that you get with a Gen 3, that plush feel, control, and pop, with the durability of a Gen 4 paddle.
Gotcha. So for our listener, for the so the MPP foam, there's already a couple of paddles that are very similar that's been using this kind of technology like the Lux Inferno and the enhanced, if not enhanced Pro. One of the newest enhanced paddle as you using on also the MPP. Both paddle actually are a little bit more plusher to when you hit it, but still having a good feedback out of it. So a lot of newer paddle company are now looking after the using the MPP rather than just using the solo EPP foam. So that's a good take to use. I was about to ask you, are you gonna put the MPP? And you already answered.
I'm
Answers
already
like,
on
yeah.
it.
I was like, that's perfect. That's what I
Yeah.
what I want to hear because I love the paddle that has the MPP foam in the center.
Yeah, no, it's been the only one that we've demoed or that I've prototyped. Not demoed, it's but like that we've prototyped our own. Um, and that has given us that feedback and that feel that we're looking for in our next paddle. And the reality is like I'm not interested in just bringing a paddle to the market for the sake of bringing a paddle to the market.
Nice.
For what it's a waste of money, and I think it's a waste of people's times. And our goal and the focus that we filter through is that the products that we're bringing have to benefit the people who are using them.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, if we're not going to build a product that's not going to benefit the people that we're going to use it, that are going to use them, we're not going to bring it to the market.
Nice. That's good. That's a very good company philosophy. And I just want to say one more thing about your apparel, about the bamboo thing. Like for people who doesn't know those material. Well, I know because my baby's been using those their clothing has been using those material. They're super soft, super air wicking and everything. I like when you touch those fabric as it feels so good. So that definitely that's great. You're able to bring those material to the pickleball apparel because I don't think there's much in the market at this point using those, and most of the time you're just using those what kind of dry fit material, but
Yeah.
they don't have the same touch and the feel at all.
No, so I mean, I'll talk a little bit about the performance of the natural fibers.
Hmm.
For one, I think there's been a large consumer movement and awareness in microplastics and how microplastics, both in our environment and things that we're using in day to day life, affect our body and our environment.
Hmm.
So that's the first kind of, I want to call it a sustainability issue, but something that people are gaining awareness in. Um, and so, we aim to solve that problem. Our jersey, which is our tops, are made with 60% bamboo and 40% merino wool. And
Nice.
our shorts and our skirts have a liner. The liner does have 10% spandex in the liner. And the reason that we did that is because we needed the spandex in that garment to provide structure. It was not responsible for us to build a garment that didn't have the structure in it. And we wanted to be as natural as possible without sacrificing performance.
Yeah,
Okay. So
that's
because
indeed.
we are making performance apparel. Merino wool wicks 30 to 40 times better than polyester.
Mm,
It's antimicrobial, odor resistant. It's thermal regulating. It'll keep you warm when it's cool. It'll keep you cool when it's hot. And the bamboo actually has some natural UV properties as well. So
nice.
the actual properties and performance of the natural fabrics far exceed what we are typically used to in a polyester recycled plastic fabric. And if you look at the way that those are made, they literally take plastic bottles, they grind them up into and melt them down into pellets, and then they string them back out into yarn, and those get made back into the clothing that we wear. So,
Mm.
now I've seen it once, I can't unsee it now. When you see a plastic bottle turn into a t-shirt that you're wearing, it
Yeah.
changed my life forever. And I don't know about you, but I've definitely gone to the dryer, pulled out a polyester t-shirt from the dryer that had just been cleaned. I put it on. I go to the court and I start sweating. And in 10 minutes, I stink. And it's because the actual the odor gets trapped inside the fibers, and when you heat up,
Gotcha.
it reactivates. And
Oh,
so
I see.
with these natural fabrics, they actually neutralize and release those odors, so they don't get trapped in the garment. So the cool thing is, and I have tested it, and I don't want to tell everybody about it, but it has happened. I've worn the shirt. I wanted to test it for myself. I wore it for 8 hours straight, 3 days in a row, and I played for 3 hours each day on those days that I wore it. And on the third day, there was no smell to my shirt. And I will tell
Wow.
you, I'm not a unique person. I do sweat, I do smell, and the reason I did that is I wanted to make sure that it can actually stand up the way that we want it to stand up. And I can tell you that
Nice.
it feels fantastic. It performs really well. It's a great material, and it's 100% made in Canada. It is not cheap. Just to as a disclaimer, okay, this stuff is made with
Yeah.
merino wool, and it's made in Canada. It is not cheap, but if you
Mhm.
take care of it, it'll last longer than any of your other stuff. And I guarantee that people are going to love it. So I'm really excited about the launch of that product.
Awesome. No, that's a great explanation of it, and that's also a great from your company take it also from you taking care of it and testing it out. We have you firsthand that basically test out is working, and definitely we're looking for your launch of apparel. Probably gonna buy some for myself because I do stink quite a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The court, there we go.
All right, we got you. We got you.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your time, Justin. So definitely follow him on where do we follow on your website, Le Cornichon with .co, right?
Yeah, lecornichon.co, and on Instagram at lecornichon.co. So Le Cornichon
Co.
Co. Le
Co.
Cornichon Co. Yep,
Awesome. Awesome.
that's us.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like the our channel, and also the Le Cornichon channel for especially for some exciting projects we'll be launching soon.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you soon, and thank you for having me on again. It was great chat.
Thank you.